Welcome back to another episode of Street Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Arv Punt, and I'm here with Sahil Jain, who's the current CTO at U.com. Nice to meet you, first of all.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so can you first take us through your career path of how you got to being the CTO of you?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. And I think this is really cool that you're interviewing folks. So I actually started um, so I guess if I kind of track back a little bit to how kind of I got to U.com, a lot of it just came down to pursuing kind of my interests and passions.
Hmm.
So I actually was in grad school where I was focusing on research at the intersection of natural language processing and healthcare.
Yeah.
And when I was doing this type of research, I got really interested in natural language processing and NLP, just more like NLP more generally.
Hmm.
And as part of that, I actually got introduced to some of the founders of this company, and we were focused on building a search engine. And
That's
to me,
nice.
I think that was a really voltage problem, which is why I joined early on.
Hmm.
And then throughout that time, I kind of just really focused on, um, you know, doing work at the intersection of product and research. And then over time, the longer I stayed at the company and learned more, I was able to take more and more responsibility. So that's kind of a little bit of my journey here.
All right, that's great. And can you explain what U.com essentially does, basically? What differentiates it from other search engines, maybe?
Yeah, so U.com is a search engine focused on building search for AI agents. So when you think about Google and a lot of these other search engines, they've been designed from the ground up for consumers,
Yeah.
humans like you and me. But if we kind of look into the future, the biggest consumer of search is not going to be humans, it's going to be AI.
Hmm.
So when you're using and you're looking for information, you're usually going to an agent first.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that right, you probably will be over the next couple of years.
Hmm.
And when you go to an agent, the agent is then doing search on your behalf.
Yeah.
So we're building search for these agents, and we want to do it in a very responsible way to help guide these AI models to be very aligned with our interests and influence them in a positive direction. We basically call this we're building the grounding layer or the search layer for AI.
All right, that's perfect. And I'm assuming with those responsible ways that requires good data,
Mhm.
reliable data that you need to source properly for your models. So, could you explain how you source that reliable data, but with a cost-effective method, basically?
Yeah, so I think when it comes down to what we're building the search layer, a
Yeah.
lot of it is having trustworthy data.
Hmm.
We believe that trustworthy data is the foundation for trustworthy agents.
Yeah.
Agents really leverage and use what they're fed.
Hmm.
So you need to make sure they're eating the right food,
Yeah.
so to speak. There's various ways in which we do this. A lot of it comes down to just our underlying way in which we, build out, our search system.
Hmm.
We're very conscious of the data sources we use. We partner as well with the companies where it makes sense
Yeah.
to acquire really high quality data. There's not really a one size fits all solution here. It's more
Hmm.
of we do a bunch of different things to make sure our data is high quality, and we just pay attention to it. And because that's our focus as a company, building search layer, we're able to spend more time, energy, and attention on it.
All right, that's great. And my last question for you is for other high schoolers or college students who want to become entrepreneurs or want to start their own entrepreneurial journeys, and especially since we live in an AI world, it's really possible now, obviously, because you don't need necessarily like technical skills to get started. What would you say is like the best piece of advice you can give for those young entrepreneurs that want to start now?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice, but I can try to think about what advice would have been helpful to me. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of it comes down to yeah, just following your passion and interests.
Hmm.
I think that as long as you're doing what you're interested in, passionate about, I think hopefully the work will come easy, and with that, I think you can have a really enjoyable work life, and it also will allow you to dive deeper and keep succeeding. So I think a lot of it comes down to just naturally you know, following your intuition and just, letting that guide you and kind of just gravitate towards what your passions are.
Yeah, I guess that worked out well for you as well. So, thank you for your time, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.